Okay, this is of course Nick back on the Get Me Off Grid video blog. Got a bit of a problem. This is of course my barrel of fermenting stuff. Set this up about, well, just under 7 days ago. You're supposed to let the fermentation go for a period of 7 to 10 days to try and get your 14% wash. Okay, I used the beer and wine hydrometer to measure the specific gravity when I started the fermentation, and now about a week later there hasn't actually been all that much change in the density of the liquid, which is of course a bit of a bad sign. What that means is that the alcohol percentage within the liquid hasn't actually changed all that much. Interesting thing is the bubbling is still going, there is still fermentation happening, carbon dioxide is still being produced, so either there is alcohol being produced and for some reason it's not being measured on my hydrometer. Maybe it's to do with, I don't know, some factor I don't yet know about fermentation. Alright, but carbon dioxide is being produced now. That could be because the yeast is or has been reacting aerobically, but I find that very hard to believe because the lid of that one particular container has got a very, very, very strong seal on it. So it's got to be anaerobic, which means that yes, it would have to be therefore producing alcohol and eating or living off the yeast. So I'm trying another experiment with this because obviously still want to try and get something out of the fermentation. Alright, the only way I'm going to be able to know for sure whether we've got anything in there would be to put it through the distiller. Now I've got my countertop distiller standing by just in case I wanted to use that. But I mean, obviously, it's a cheap Chinese product, and even after many, many months of usage, it still tastes like and still produces the flavor of something that's been in the Chinese factory. So I don't necessarily want to use it all that much. I mean, it could be because I've been using the same water jug which came with it, and maybe the water jug which came with it has still got a few problems. Maybe that's the issue that's causing the funny flavor in the fluids. I don't know. But anyway, back to the main subject of this one particular video. Right, because I'm telling you my successes and my failures. And so I'm assuming I've had some kind of failure here, and I thought what I'd try and do is add some nutrients. Obviously, I've been following the instructions of Steve Harris, who says you just need water, you just need sugar, you just need yeast, and then hey presto, you're sorted out, okay? But other websites have suggested no, you need to use nutrients. So, thanks to research, I've gone into my medicine cabinet and I've taken some magnesium pills, I've taken some B vitamin pills, I've crushed them up, and I've also taken a few other nutrition pills and I've dissolved them in hot water and I've poured the mix into the fermenting barrel, the magic fermenting barrel, which is not currently producing any alcohol, to see whether that's going to feed the yeast and start making something good occur. Now, there's still some pressure on the lid, so even after, there's still plenty of carbon dioxide being released. And that's the resultant stuff. There's still bubbles there. You can't probably see it on this camera in this darkness, but I can see it, and I can see the gunk on the surface being moved around by the action of bubbles on, inside the container itself. So I'm going to give that a little bit of time and then probably in the next couple of days shove it through the distiller anyway just to see what happens. I might just shove it through the desk countertop and see what happens there because if I'm going to burn the product, it doesn't matter which distiller I use. Okay. Obviously that's cheap and Chinesey, and I'd love to get myself a countertop one which isn't cheap and Chinese, but that's for later on down the line. What's most important is to improve my ability to make a good quality wash for the generation of my delightful bioethanol. Okay, so this is me showing you a failure, not a success. I'm not one of these people who's just going to put lots of groovy stuff on the internet just so I can get lots of views. I want you to follow what I'm doing so that I can therefore educate you as to the mistakes I make and also to learn on the way. Okay? Now, one of the key problems with adding nutrients is, of course, it increases the unit cost of whatever it is you're producing. That's a problem. I'm also curious as to why, if fermentation is still going on, that I've not seen a change in the hydrometer reading for what's actually being produced. All right, it's not a stopped fermentation. If it was a stopped fermentation, then there was possibly some kind of bacteriological infection, which could have caused the problem, the issue itself. But that's not the case, because fermentation, and it is still yeasty fermentation, you can tell, is still going strong. So it's another one of those more questions to be asked type situations. Anyway, just thought I'd update you with another one of my failures. Yay!